Okay, so here's what I thought we could do just to start the game is to go to dictionary.com.
Wait,
And
I've never gone there.
you've never gone to dictionary.com?
No.
So here's what I thought we could do, because you're such a good storyteller. So I was going to, so how can we collaborate and have it be easy? We pick a word from like dictionary.com. We go to dictionary.com and just do a random something. We pick a word. We have maybe 30 seconds to jot down our ideas of what stories we would tell. And then
these are stories we know about.
No, it could have happened to us. It could be a historical story. It could be something you've heard a little bit about. If you want to do a super fast Wikipedia thing, you can do that. It can be fictional, from literature. We could make something up and see if it sells,
Hello, Ms. I'm not going to put any guardrails anywhere.
Thank you. So what I thought we could do is tell between 2 and 6 stories, because they can be like 2 sentences long or a joke, or it could be 30 minutes long. Dictionary.com, mitzvah.
That's two Irish Catholics are going to nail this. It's a good deed, right? Oh yeah, any good or praiseworthy deed.
I did not know that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, somebody talked. It's like performing a mitzvah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know the.
No, I knew bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah.
Right. But yeah, it's like I guess it's doing a good deed.
So that's our word, mitzvah. Any good or praiseworthy deed. Okay. So now I'm going to set the timer for 30 seconds.
Timer.
We're telling 3 stories based off this word. All right?
Yeah.
30 seconds. Here we go. That was fast.
That was so fast.
All right, let's do it again. Another 30 seconds. Do you need more time?
Did you use the cheating timer?
I didn't. That was 30. Look at.
No, I believe you.
Okay, here we go. Another 30. Holy crap. Do you need more time?
I got 2.
All right, another 30. Maybe what we need is 30 seconds per idea.
Okay.
Okay, another 30 seconds.
Yeah. God, when I'm working out, those 30-second timers take forever. But when I'm doing this, they're like 2 seconds long. You are the host of this. And it was your idea. So I think you are bequeathed to go first.
Oh, is that a fact? Okay.
Yeah, that's the rules.
So a mitzvah is a good deed. The first thing that came to my mind was when something that happened to me when I was getting my graduate degree, and I was living in Austin, going to the UT Austin, but I got an internship in Dallas with what was then Anderson Consulting before it had to turn itself into Accenture after a scandal. But I was there before.
I didn't realize Accenture. Okay.
Oh, maybe that's.
I didn't know Accenture was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it used to be Anderson Consulting, and so it was hoity-toity, and I had this. I had to go buy a couple of suits, and I would just sort of wear one day and one the next, try to make them look as rich and sophisticated as I could. And so I went home one weekend, drove down to Austin, and then I needed to drive back up to Dallas, and I didn't want to go. I only had a couple weeks left. I didn't want to drive back, so I stalled, but I wanted to get back up to Dallas before dark. So I have my tiny little Honda Civic, my little silver Honda Civic, and I'm
For some reason, whenever you've told me about that car, you say tiny little and you go like this. I never met the car, but I've heard you and you always go.
I loved that little car. It was like a little silver bullet. That's how I
Okay.
talked about it, and it was cheap and it was the lowest, grade of everything. Plastic bits flying off as I'm driving down the highway. But I'm driving, and up in Dallas, it's super flat. There's no trees.
Right.
And, you just feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. And so I'm driving, and I come over this hill, just a hill, and I see several cars are parked on the shoulder on the side of the street, and I'm like, I wonder what. And then I ran over the ladder that was in the middle of the highway. It had fallen off somebody's like construction truck or something, and this metal ladder was
Oh shoot!
And I ran over. Boom, boom, boom. And it's then I realized, that's why all the other cars are on the side of the road.
To avoid the thing, and you hit it.
Either avoid it or they also hit it, right?
Oh.
Because people were pulling over because, to check the car and check the tires and everything. Well, I go over to the side, and this was long before cell phones. This is what I should probably always say that ahead of these stories. And so I pull over to the side. My front left tire is flat. I have a flat tire. And being a Texas girl with big hair in college, I did not know how to change it. I did not. So I had a flat tire. And behind me, there was a van with a husband and wife and like 3 children. And so I go back to them to ask if they'll call the police, or somebody to come, to get this ladder out, because more people are hitting the thing as we're standing there.
It was a big ladder.
Huge ladder.
Oh,
huge,
okay.
Metal. So it was indestructible. People kept running over it, but nothing would happen to the damn thing.
Takes out a fleet of cars.
I know they're all turned over like bugs on the side of the road with their tires in the air, like. So I go back to this van and I think, nice family, they'll help me. And so I'm asking them, would you please call when you get home? Would you call the police? They are rolling up their windows. They're acting like I'm some kind of desperado. The kids lock the doors and they squeal off onto the highway. And I'm yelling at them, the police, call the police. I couldn't believe it.
Were they afraid of you? Big Texan hair girl.
I guess
can't change your tires, kind of scary.
I guess so. Maybe I had on a frightening t-shirt. I don't know what it was. So then I go back to my car and I'm like screaming in frustration because, it's getting dark. I don't have a cell phone. There's no rest areas. We're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Dallas, or between Dallas and Austin. And there, all the other cars are driving off, and I only see one guy ahead of me, and he's standing there by his car, and he's kind of checking out. He's working on his car and everything. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh shit. So I stand by my car because I don't want to go ask him because he's this young guy. And he turned at one point and he had a t-shirt on that said "Party Naked."
That's not what you want to see on a roadside helper.
I was like, this is not the time for that invitation. Thank you very much. Maybe some other time.
Could you put something on over that, then change my tire, and then don't talk to me again?
and then leave me alone.
It said "Party Naked." Who produces a shirt like that? There's some company out there who thought that was
picking up these shirts. Party naked. So
I wasn't going to, but gosh, now I have a reminder from that t-shirt. Sounds like a plan.
How did that slip my mind?
Check my 401k. litter box, kitty litter, and naked. Even though they didn't have hashtags then. Hashtag life goals. Oh, that
That
detail.
running over a ladder would lead to a naked party. So
Oh,
finally, there's nothing left to do. There's nothing
talk to
left to
him.
do. I walk up to Party Naked.
Did he kind of look like somebody who'd wear that shirt also, if you know what I mean?
Well, he was slender and he was maybe 20, you know.
Did he look like could he walk upright?
He
Was
was
he sober?
he had a
That's what
straight spine. It was, yeah. There
Okay.
must have been mitigating, elements because he didn't.
Maybe it was a gag gift for his 23rd birthday,
That
and
he just had driven away from.
and he hadn't cleaned. Yeah, okay, yeah.
He had to be
some
wearing it.
laundry, and he's like, "Oh God."
Oh, I know, this is my
Okay.
last shirt. I have to wear it. So I go up to him and I'm just a mess. I'm like, I went over the ladder. And
The van people left me.
the bad people peeled out. What's the matter with people today?
Oh, oh my God.
He goes,
Oh,
can I help you? Could I help you change your tire? Yes, please. Thank you. No problem. I want to help you. Let's go change your tire. I saw what happened. My car's okay, but let's fix your car.
And you don't have any stranger danger going on at that
No,
point.
nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. So he walks with me back to my car and says, "Do you have a jack?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
I don't know what that is. I've heard of them.
So he's like, "It's okay. It's all right. We'll
Okay.
check to see if you have one. There's usually one there. And if
Under the fake
that's
thing.
the thing, and if you don't have, I have one. We're gonna, okay. And so he pulls out the jack. He pulls out.
You had one.
I had one. My little silver bullet. So this sweetheart.
And he's doing a lot of hands to you, right? Like just like
Yeah. He's
gestures.
very calming. He's speaking very quietly, and he's moving slowly. He's not making any sudden moves, and he's tired and this, that, and he's laying on the ground. He's doing the nuts and everything. And he's just talking to me very calmly the whole time. And he changes my tire and says, best of luck to you.
You had a donut or a spare?
I had a spare. And
Yeah.
the thing about it, Jeff, is that just as I was about to leave, he said, I waited for you to come ask me. He said, I knew I couldn't come to you.
Oh, for safety. What a mensch.
Yeah. So that was a mitzvah I will never, ever forget, because it was so brutal,
Right.
in my own ignorance, and the van leaves and there's no way for me to do anything. And he was just touching his car and standing around. He was waiting.
He was waiting. You didn't know that until he told you.
No.
Oh.
It made sense afterward to me.
Right. It's not going to look good if I approach this woman on the side of the road, but I don't want to leave her stranded.
That's exactly right.
Oh, we were howling, but what a sweet turn that story.
It's a complete heart-rending, because here he is, party naked, 20, 21, who knows? But he was waiting for me.
Oh, when he said that, did you, were you still too kind of, what I'm wondering is, when did it dawn on you how sweet that was? Did you get it then, or did it take a moment, or?
I think it seemed nice to me at the time.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, well, thank you, because he could see that I needed help. But as I drove away, it became much more what danger I really was in. I mean, it was getting dark. I was by the highway. The ladder was, still messing with people.
Yeah.
And so he saved me from who knows what might have happened. So that's what came to mind.
That was a mitzvah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, so how about you? What's a mitzvah story you have?
Lauren, you know how creativity, there are no rules,
Yes.
but I did it all wrong.
You did.
I did them all wrong. As you're telling your story, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I remember kind of what we were supposed to be doing. I did it all wrong.
Well, tell me how you did it. What'd you do?
I don't know. The second one I did was I wrote something in Pig Latin, and then the third one I did an homage to a famous literary story, and in the first one I just created a little scene. Nothing of
Okay.
anything that's happened to me. But then in you're telling, I thought of two real stories with bat mitzvahs, and
Okay.
then one story with a car.
Okay. See, this is what I thought might happen.
Is I'd have 6 to your 1.
All of which are wrong. They're all wrong.
No, like, yeah, I remember you saying in the email, like we'd spur each other on with stories.
Yes. So you get to pick. You get to pick.
Okay, I'm going to tell you 2.
Okay.
One is, it's the first. So I've never been to a bar mitzvah, and I went to 2 bat mitzvahs. So I went to Toronto it was late fall, early winter, I think, but I think it was pretty autumnal. I don't know if there was snow on the ground yet.
Okay.
And I'm a little nervous. It's
Yeah.
like, I want to.
I don't know what.
Yeah, I want to make sure, but it was in their backyard. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
formal. But it's like, okay, I'm not used to this house of worship. What are the rules? And
Right.
like if it's Catholic, there's all this stuff you're supposed to do at the right time and everything.
Down. Yep.
Well, it was lovely, and it was none of that I had to worry about. I think I told Lorraine, he's like, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But I remember they had this, they had a tent in their backyard, which is where the event was, and they had a hallway made out of this tent material, like with warm air blowing through. So you walk from their house outside, but in this covered area.
Yeah.
And then we sat in the backyard, but it was because it was cold.
Yeah. It's Toronto.
So they had, or Dundas or Hamilton.
Oh, that's right.
Right. I said Toronto, but you're right. It's Dundas, I think. So, I didn't have anything to compare it to, but I think instead of a rabbi, they had a cantor who did the ceremony.
Okay.
And they had the ark up on the stage.
Okay.
And
I don't know the difference between the cantor and the rabbi.
I think the cantor is the one who sings, maybe.
They're the singer, but they're not a rabbi.
Right. And I think this is because of what form of Judaism they practice. So
okay.
they could do that.
Okay.
And it was a woman cantor. So I think it was a little less formal or conservative.
Orthodox
Orthodox.
Okay.
So in the backyard, lovely people. I don't know any of them except Lori's family. And his other daughters are helping. And so they're at the ceremony, and there's a part where I guess, because I mean, this sounds ridiculous. I guess I'm shy that we're being recorded, like you and I are explaining Judaism.
No. This will come with the warning label that we really don't
know what we're talking
about what we're saying. Yeah.
I do know what it's like to be a goy at an event that I don't know what's going on. And you do too.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So that's what we're representing.
We're representing that. So I guess there's a point, because when you're a bar bat mitzvah, whatever day it falls on, there's a specific day from the Torah that you read from.
Okay.
So there was a point where, 2 of the daughters are standing up on the stage, and the cantor says something like, we will be going, like we will be opening the ark. So the 2 sisters reach in and grab and pull it, and opened it. And then the cantor says, oh, I can see why you thought that. I didn't mean right now. We'll be doing it in just a moment. And then without missing the beat, they both go, like Carol, Merrill, and Price is Right, where like, oh, we showed the car too soon. And they both just went, and they weren't hamming it up. They were a little embarrassed. The audience lost it. I lost it. It was so funny because they both they're probably nervous. You know, because like, and I think it's the big deal because the ark's coming up.
Oh, I know you're
and then they
opening
just
the
go,
arc.
and they both just go. And I calmed down. It's like, oh, Jews make mistake in Jewish rituals, just like we made mistakes growing up, and everybody's nervous. It was sweet. It was very sweet. Like I could totally, and I loved how the cantor handled it. Basically, like, oh, I could see what you thought I meant now, but we need to wait a minute.
She's trying to make them feel better, and they're more ashamed anyway. More ashamed.
But probably wanted to run off stage.
Oh, well, and when you said we're going to open the ark, the only ark I know of is the Ark of the Covenant in like Indiana Jones, where all the devils come out at the end and eat the Nazis.
I don't think that's what.
You don't think that's what it is?
But I mean, the Ark of the Covenant, like I think, is it? We don't know. We need help.
Where's our tutor? This is what I think might be attractive about the show. Is that
we don't know shit. Okay. I do know, here's this other story that has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
My very first partner, Martin, whom you knew.
Yes.
We lived in Monterey. We were driving up in Santa Rosa. So that's like, 3-4 hours north of us. We are coming back the next day and I ran over something.
Oh.
Or my tire just got a flat and it kind of came off the axle.
Ooh.
So we pulled up to the side of the road. It was a Sunday and it's not looking good. So we called AAA and this guy shows up and he was like, oh, you're going to need a cotter pin for this right front axle. So I don't have that, but we'll need to go to a garage. Yeah. I'm like, okay. And he said, well, why don't you just hop in the truck and we'll go to a local garage, pre-cell phone, but he knows some of these garages.
Okay.
Well, it became this thing where it's a Sunday. So we would get to the next garage and they would have closed 10 minutes prior. So then we get to the next one, they would have just closed. And Martin and I are like, look, you're working. You don't have to drive us around. And he said, he goes, if I have to take a call, I'll have to take a call. Other than that, he was American born, but it just spent like 3 years in South America and had just come back.
Yeah.
And we keep saying, we don't want to trouble you. And he's like, it's okay. But we went to like 6 places and every time we'd get there, they would have just closed. And we're like, what are we going to do? So we finally find this one place. It's a gas station with this huge garage. And the cashier basically said, the mechanic's gone. But if you guys want to go into the garage and look for a cotter pin, which seemed a little both generous and dodgy. Yeah. We're like, okay, I don't know what I'm looking for. Martin doesn't know what he's looking for.
What's a cotter pin?
I don't even know what a cotter pin is. So we go in and picture, like floor to ceiling shelves, little tiny drawers with thousands and thousands of mechanical parts in them. And I'm like pretending to look. I don't know. I mean, he's trying to describe, I'm opening these things. I don't know what I'm looking for. And even the mechanic, who's very mechanically inclined, is like, this, I don't know. You're probably going to have to stay overnight. We'll take it in tomorrow.
Oh.
So all of a sudden, Martin goes, I think I found it. And he's holding up this thing. I mean, it brings to mind needle in a haystack.
Needle in a haystack.
Thousands of possible parts. And Martin, who's more mechanical than I am, but not very mechanical, right, holds up this thing and says, I think I found it. And the mechanic comes over and he goes, well, it is a cotter pin. I don't know where he goes, it was just kind of sitting here in this pile. So the mechanic said, well, let's drive back to where your car is, which is like 5 miles away. We drive back. The mechanic gets under the car, and he was such a sweet guy. We kept thanking
Yeah.
him and thanking,
Oh,
and he's going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we're like,
what?
what? And he said, we could have taken anything and gotten it in there and gotten you home. You would have driven home and then just had to get it replaced. I think you found the exact cotter pin for that year's Honda. And I'm like, what? And he goes, no, you won't have to have this replaced. So we thank him. We give him a tip. He drives off. We get in the car. I'm driving. He's fixed the tire. We're
Yeah.
driving south. And I said to Martin, how did you know that was the thing? And he said, I have a meeting tomorrow I can't miss. We needed to be home. I'm like, that's how you go. That doesn't make any mechanical
It
sense.
doesn't make any
And he
sense.
goes, we needed to get home tonight. I said, but there were like thousands of pieces of the mechanic. He goes, I know. He was kind of like that.
Well, he could just say it must be.
I was ready for him to say he had taken an auto mechanics class, or it reminded him of this thing or whatever. He
It said
I've got
Honda bolts or
no,
whatever.
I've got a meeting tomorrow that I can't miss. After this angel of a mechanic, I mean, we were with him for like 3 hours because it was dead. Nobody called him.
Right.
So it was like an angel and a miracle. It was like a little Christmas
and
mitzvah.
And mechanical
Honestly.
magic happened.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, that's a great story.
Driving up on that trip, we were listening to an audiobook. I think it was called A Boy's Life or This Boy's Life. It was a good adventure story with this kind of creepy part. And I'm driving and Martin grabs my leg and I go, wah! And I swerve and I get a little mad at him. I'm like, and he's so sorry. I'm like, don't do that when I'm driving. I said, I could have driven off the side and what if the tire fell off?
Oh,
I forgot that. And the next day driving back, it did. It was a weird weekend.
There's a lot of intentionality happening. Okay, do you have any more mitzvah stories you want to tell?
Not the ones I wrote down. I wrote down something like, she sold her hair to buy him a gold watch. Buy him a watch band. He sold his band to buy her a hair comb. Oh, Henry, misguided mitzvah. That's what I wrote. That
is adorable. That is,
it made me think of that
whole story.
The gift of the Magi.
So this was there's so many heroic stories during World War II. But when I heard the word mitzvah, one of them that came to mind was really, I believe it was Denmark, where the governor, president, mayor of Denmark said, we are all Jewish now, when they were taken over by the Nazis. And they were so supportive of the Jewish people that they I think smuggled out the most of any European country. Wow. And the people that were drafted to work in the munitions factories and the bullet factories and gun factories and everything, they did, what is it called? They went slow. They worked really slowly, and they would damage the machinery, but they had to do it without looking like they were doing it.
Oh, and they were all like,
they were all in on it.
They were
all in on it. So they would act stupid and like they didn't understand. And so the Germans hated them because they idiots, but they were doing it on purpose. So they united in a secret way as a country to rebel or to slow the machine and to get people out, all behind a facade of helping.
That's talent and intelligence and mitzvah.
and mitzvah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I know that word better now because of that story you just told.
So I love that.
See, you have more depth than I do. Your stories start funny and end heart touching. Mine just have like homage to O. Henry or a cotter pin.
No,
But I'm not
no.
comparing myself.
Honey, all of us have different kinds of creativity.
Okay, but can we just have a moment for party naked? What? I thought that was like somebody manufactured that. Was there like a pitch meeting that like we need a new line of t-shirts? The t-shirt doesn't say I party naked or
No.
it's a command like
It's a
eat more
general-
kale.
You're right. You're right. Eat kale, party naked.
Party naked,
Same
like
kind of demand.
maybe that's that guy's political platform. I mean, it's not the most horrible thing you could wish on somebody, but it's a little.
Right. It sort of speaks
And
of
that,
freedom.
but that he cared enough about you and knew how to do the right thing, but also wore that t-shirt.
What are you doing?
That's why I love life. It's contradictory.